am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV, and I didn't know this was a back and forth that was going on. So interesting enough to report on it now. I guess Jermaine Dupri responded to the Joe Budden podcast, and I guess they responded as well. I think it was Ice and Melissa Ford that was on his ass, really, not necessarily Joe, but we're going to watch and see where this goes. This is a fresh reaction, so we're going to watch Jermaine Dupri's response to it all, and then we're going to watch the Joe Budden's, or going to listen to the Joe Budden podcast response to it all. Let's listen.
I don't know why he tweeted this.
To JD's point, there is no benefit for you maintaining your independence if you don't know what to do.
The goal is to get your music to as many possible people that you can.
Absolutely.
Make money off it. Hopefully change people's lives. I don't understand what major and independent even has to do with what the end goal for most artists is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I decided to do this like I saw the boy Stephen A. Smith when he addressed the LeBron shit. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to have that vibe, right? So anyway, so I seen so many people talking about this question that I asked.
He says, I'm a little lost. Can somebody tell me what the goal of being an independent artist is today? Because of all the things that people are chasing is shit major artists do. What's the thing that indie artists do that make it special?
He sounds like a dinosaur.
The way Joe Budden's and his team framed it was as if I was saying majors versus independent. I'm not doing that. In 2010, I put out an artist by the name of Dundria that I found on YouTube. I wrote the song, You're the One, and I wrote a lot of her songs that was on her album, basically, but I wrote that song specifically, You're the One. And me and Brian Cox produced the record. I put her out. I paid for her video. I paid for her to go on tour with Trey Songz. I was paying everything out my pocket. No help, no backing, no financing, nothing. So understanding the independent space, I did this for the first time since I became who I am in 2010. I learned really, really fast in the process of doing that I basically had to do everything. Now I knew it. And I also was like, shit, I'm going to make all the money. I'm going to try to make I'm going to do this. I'm going to own my masters. I'm going to do all of this, right? So I was there in that space already. So I know exactly why people do it. I understand it. So right after that, I did the Janet Jackson record from the soundtrack, Why Did I Get Married? Tyler Perry actually allowed me to do the soundtrack for that movie. And the soundtrack, I own the master. I did the soundtrack. I did the Janet Jackson record, Nothing. Jonte Austin, myself, Brian Cox, we did that song. So I understand. I understand the independent world. So in no way was I taking a shot. Now, 2 years ago, I did a record with my brother Spitter, right? And we did an album called For Promotional Use Only. Completely independent. I actually let him and Musa drop the ball as far as showing me the ropes of what they actually do in their world. I see a lot of y'all saying I fumbled Lotto and I dropped the ball on Lotto or whatever you want to say, right? The deal with Lotto and the rap game, right, was that if you win on the show, what you win is a So Def chain and a contract with So Def for Jermaine to produce one song for you and put it out on So Def. I did that independently, right? So a lot of people was like, if they didn't feel that push that they felt on a lot of my other records, it's because it was independent and it was all funded by me. I put all of this music out, all of that shit was all independent from me. Straight independent. Like, I would put it out, Lifetime would put it up on the streaming services. We didn't even go through no distribution company when I did the rap game shit. This was all just straight, real independent shit. What I want people to understand is that when I ask the question, I already think that this is my mindset. This is what my mindset is. If you're independent, the things that come with independent, these are the things that come in the happy meal of an independent box. Owning your masters, getting your publishing, doing the royalties, and you having to pay the royalties to people that you work with, and the freedom. These are things that are standard to me in an independent deal. You never know everything. People believe that you do because you become successful. And I wrote this down in my phone last night because I was going to say this. But people believe that I know everything because I've become successful. But I know in my heart of hearts that I don't know everything. And if I ask a question, I know that that's what y'all jump to. Like Jermaine, he should know better than this. That's what Joe Budden said. But I'm just asking a question. So I just want y'all to understand that. I asked the question. Everybody's blowing it out of proportion. People are also answering the question with what they want to say as opposed to what I was asking. I was asking a question about independent artists having their own special shit. Is there something that independent artists have or do that is privy to independent artists? Thank you.
What the fuck y'all up?
Oh yeah, let's get right to it. Jermaine Dupri is on Ice and Melissa Ford's ass.
That's who asked you on?
Yeah.
Ooh. He right on your H7. Was it?
Yeah, L2. Yeah, L3. What hurts? Jermaine Dupri has replied to all of the responses to his independent tweet. And he made a video. In that video, he highlights the Joe Budden podcast and how we framed his question to make it appear like he was comparing indie versus major, and that wasn't his goal at all.
But we didn't frame that.
Yeah, I feel like he did that all on his own.
I think we just read the tweet. And
Yeah, that's how you tweeted that. Why would y'all, what's the benefit of being independent, basically, is what he asked. I'm not framing anything.
Well, let me let y'all, because y'all don't want with the smoke.
Nah, I ain't got no smoke.
He on y'all ass.
He not on it. He not on my ass. But go ahead, finish. You can finish.
I was going to say, I haven't actually heard what he's had to say. So if we have a little bit to play, then I'm more than...
a 6-7 minute clip up.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
And majority of it was just him explaining, basically saying, I understand what independent is because I've done X, Y, Z. So he broke down how he found Dondria, how he, everything, her album was all independent, all funded by him, no outside backing, nothing like that. He addressed people saying how he, quote unquote, fumbled having Lotto because she started on the rap game show. And he was saying the winner of that show, you got a chain, you got for him to produce a song.
We don't care about all that shit he said. His point was...
That's a sick prize, by the way.
Who is the winner, anyways? Do we know who they are?
Right.
Did we talk about them? Yeah.
No, this is years ago.
No, I'm saying, but Lotto is where she is, and where is the winner of that show?
This is the worst gift.
Anyways,
we don't
keep
care.
going.
That's not what's the point. The point.
His point was, what is special about being independent?
I don't think that
some of the things that people were naming, freedom and having your rights and so forth and so on, he was saying, I have got that, and I know people that have those same things
on majors.
So what is specifically special about being an independent?
Everybody don't get that on the major.
I was
about to say, like, he still sounds like he's speaking from a privileged standpoint.
Oh, you want to smoke?
It's not smoke, though. It's like, it's literally just like addressing, commentary that's going back and forth. Like, I don't have anything personal against the guy, but the fact of the matter is that it still sounds like he's speaking from a privileged position. Because like Parks just said, it's not... Just because you're on a major doesn't guarantee that you're going to have all of that. And it just seems like...
You trying to get part of them all?
Let her cook. Let her cook. Come on. Let her cook. Somebody got to break up your stretch.
I see you, girl. No, I'm coming for it. So you stop.
So, no, come for me because that's...
No. I'm talking shit. Go ahead.
Okay, no, it just seems like I said, he's speaking from a privileged position, and like I said as well, that it might be an antiquated thought process.
I just don't like the fact that he even mentioning. I know people on majors that got their masters and all that. They had to negotiate that probably down the line. Mm-hmm. You're not getting signed today, well, unless you scorching hot. Mm-hmm. You might could leverage some of that today. Right. But that's, again, a small part. Those who are scorching hot kind of realize, hey, I got here.
It sounds like he's referring to outliers. You know what I'm saying? So it's the exception to the rule. And so it's kind of like, you know, when they use the success of a black person to say, see, racism doesn't exist. You know, there's opportunity is bountiful. No, the fuck it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems like he's making, you know, kind of trying to create that kind of argument, and it still falls a little flat to me.
Do you think that he's got it wrong, or do you think he's carrying the water for the majors?
That's what the latter, it sounds like.
I mean, according to him, all he was doing was asking a question, and we should never make it so in hip hop that somebody is unable to ask a question.
But here's the problem with that.
That's what he said.
I hear that. And if he weren't Jermaine Dupri, it would be like me saying on Twitter, what's the point of Black History Month? I could just be asking a question, but you would expect that I would know the answer to that based on who I am and where I am in the world. After 40 years
is Black History Month February or April?
Both.
It's all year round.
It's all year round.
So we get two.
We just get February. We used to get a week. Now we get a month.
For now.
But
we don't really get shit anymore, according to Trump. But
if it's April, all right.
So it's like when Jermaine Dupri says, what's the difference? It's hard to take it as an earnest question when he's an industry veteran, a legend, somebody who knows the business inside and out. It's hard for me to believe that he needs to ask that question to Twitter.
And that's why I keep saying it's an antiquated thought process, because...
It's like a meek tweet.
No comment. But I'll say this. If you heard me say, what's the point of Black History Month, you would interpret it as me saying something's wrong with it because it's me asking as opposed to a 12-year-old asking.
Yeah, you're more informed.
Right. So you would assume if I'm asking it with a point of view already. Mm-hmm. If Jermaine Dupri is saying, what's the difference between a major and an independent when you spent your whole life in the music business since you were this big, literally, I got to assume you have an opinion on it that you're trying to communicate through that question.
And the way he worded it, it almost sounded like he was... I'm not putting words in your mouth. Pause. I don't want you to have no smoke over here. It almost seemed like you were looking down at the people that wanted to be independents.
That was a logical way to perceive what he said.
It's like, yo, a lot of y'all want the same thing that you would want being on a major.
Okay, guess who's not getting a Jermaine Dupri beat?
Guess who's not a rapper?
You and Mel and
I don't want it.
Yes, you and Mel.
But you put a tweet like that out into the ether. Not everybody's going to agree with you. It's going to create discourse. And it's going to create conversation.
I thought the tweet was engagement farming to begin with.
I was just getting
ready. You said that.
I was getting ready to say, and people know that.
Yeah.
What you just said, you know if I put a tweet out, what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I know I could create a conversation, even if it's just boredom or whatever. I know I could create a conversation off this.
Right. So
all of that's true, but to Mel's earlier point, it really could just be him speaking from his privilege, like we've already stated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's not to say that he's never worked independent projects, never worked with independent artists. I'm clear who Jermaine Dupri is.
For sure.
But his story is not everyone's story. It's not most of our story. It certainly was not my story and my experience in dealing with major labels. Mm-hmm. And I think there's more of me than there are of him. For sure.
Yeah, that is very much so true. Honestly, yeah, I agree with everything Melissa Ford said. She is a legend from the 6. Too bad she's sitting next to a... Y'all know how that goes. But either way, the Podfather had not much to say, but what he did have to say was pretty correct, and I agree with Ice there too. Does it sound like Jermaine Dupri is talking from a place of privilege, even in watching the response clip that we watched? We watched a full 5-6 minute response clip. Yes and no. It sounds like he's talking from a place of I've been independent or I've done things independently and they kind of work out the same way as me doing something if I was working with a major. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like he was trying to do now. Is he on his high horse? Who knows? Maybe. But he is Jermaine Dupri, and like Joe said, his experience was different from everybody else's. While he could get a yes, everybody else probably got told no. And, that matters in the music industry. So, yeah, he could be speaking from a place of privilege. Who knows? Honestly, this is much ado about nothing, in my opinion. But, hey, ain't shit to talk about. Well, posted a lot, so it was a lot to talk about. But, we were scraping. I was literally scraping at the bottom of the barrel today. Dead ass. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.